How lonely sits the inner city that once was full of people. How like a widow I've become. I was great among the spiritual nations. I that was a princess among the provinces has become a vassal. I weep bitterly in the night with tears on my cheeks. Among all my lovers I have no one to comfort me. All my friends have dealt treacherously with me. They've become my enemies. My humanity has gone into exile with suffering and hard servitude. I live now among the spiritual nations and find no resting place. My pursuers have all overtaken me in the midst of my distress. My foes have become the masters. My enemies prosper, because the Lord's made me suffer for the multitude of my transgressions. From my own inner Zion has departed all my majesty. My divine royalty has become like stags that find no pasture. They fled without strength before the pursuer. My own inner Jerusalem sinned grievously, so I've become a mockery. All who honored me despised me, for they've seen my spiritual nakedness. I myself groan and turn my face away. My uncleanness was in my skirts. I took no thought of my future. My downfall was appalling, with none to comfort me. O Lord, look at my affliction, for the enemy has triumphed. Enemies have stretched out their hands over all my precious things. I've even seen the spiritual nations invade my inner sanctuary, those whom you forbade to enter your congregation. My inner Zion stretches out my hands, but there's no one to comfort me. The Lord has commanded against my humanity that my neighbors should become my foes. My own inner Jerusalem has become a filthy thing within me. The Lord is in the right, for I've rebelled against his word. But hear, all you people, and behold my suffering. My youth has gone into captivity. I called to my lovers, but they deceived me. See, O Lord, how distressed I am. My stomach churns. My heart is wrung within me, because I've been very rebellious. In the street, the sword bereaves. In the house, it's like death. They heard how I was groaning, with no one to comfort me. All my enemies heard of my trouble. They're glad that you've done it. Bring on the day you've announced, and let them be as I am. Let all their evil doing come before you, and deal with them as you've dealt with me because of all my transgressions. For my groans are many, and my heart is faint. How the Lord in his anger has humiliated my inner Zion. He's thrown down from heaven to earth the splendor of my professed Christianity. He hasn't remembered his footstool within me in the day of his anger. The Lord has destroyed without mercy all the dwellings of my humanity. In his wrath, he's broken down the strongholds of my humanity. He's brought down to the ground in dishonor my own inner kingdom and its rulers. He's cut down in fierce anger all the might of my own professed Christianity. He's withdrawn his right hand from me in the face of the enemy. He's burned like a flaming fire in my humanity, consuming all around. He's bent his bow like an enemy, with his right hand set like a foe. He's killed all in whom I took pride in the tent of my inner Zion. He's poured out his fury like fire. The Lord's become like an enemy. He's destroyed my professed Christianity. He's destroyed all my inner palaces, laid in ruins my inner strongholds, and multiplied in my humanity mourning and lamentation. He's broken down his spiritual booth like a garden. He's destroyed his spiritual tabernacle within me. The Lord has abolished in my inner Zion festival and Sabbath, and his fierce indignation has spurned my divine royalty and my inner priesthood. The Lord has scorned his altar within me, disowned his sanctuary within me. He's delivered into the hand of the enemy the spiritual walls of my inner palaces. A clamor was raised in the spiritual house of the Lord within me as on a day of festival. The Lord determined to lay in ruins the spiritual wall of my inner Zion. He stretched the line. He didn't withhold his hand from destroying. He caused spiritual rampart and spiritual wall to lament. They languish together. My spiritual gates have sunk into the ground. He's ruined and broken my spiritual bars. My divine royalty are among the spiritual nations. Guidance is no more. And my own inner prophets, my intuition, my instinct, obtain no vision from the Lord. The spiritual elders of my inner Zion sit on the ground in silence. I've thrown spiritual dust on my head and put on spiritual sackcloth. The joy and vitality of my inner Jerusalem has bowed my head to the ground. My eyes are spent with weeping. My stomach churns. My spiritual bowel is poured out on the ground because of the destruction of my life, because my own innocence faints in the streets of the city. What can I say for myself? To what compare myself, O my inner Jerusalem? To what can I liken myself, that I may comfort myself, O virgin daughter, inner Zion? For vast as the sea is my ruin. Who can heal me? My own inner prophets had seen for me false and deceptive visions. They hadn't exposed my iniquity to restore my fortunes, but had seen oracles for me that were false and misleading. All who pass along the way clap their hands at me. They hiss and wag their heads at daughter inner Zion. Is this the inner city that was called the perfection of beauty, the joy of all the earth? All my enemies open their mouths against me. They hiss, they gnash their teeth, they cry, we've devoured her. Ah, this is the day we longed for. At last we've seen it. The Lord has done what he purposed. He's carried out his threat as he ordained long ago. He's demolished without pity. He's made the enemy rejoice over me and exalted the might of my foes. I cry aloud to the Lord. O spiritual wall of my inner Zion, let tears stream down like a torrent day and night. I give myself no rest, my eyes no respite. I arise, I cry out in the night, at the beginning of the watches. I pour out my heart like water before the presence of the Lord. I am one who's seen affliction under the rod of God's wrath. He's driven and brought me into darkness without any light. Against me alone, he turns his hand again and again all day long. He's made my flesh and my skin waste away and broken my bones. He's besieged and enveloped me with bitterness and tribulation. He's made me sit in darkness like the dead of long ago. He's spiritually walled me about so that I cannot escape. He's put heavy spiritual chains on me. Though I call and cry for help, he shuts out my prayer. He's spiritually blocked my ways with hewn stones. He's made my paths crooked. The thought of my affliction and my homelessness is wormwood and gall. My soul continually thinks of it and is bowed down within me. But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies endure. His mercies never come to an end, and they are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore, I will hope in him. The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul that seeks him. It's good that one should wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. It's good for me to bear the yoke in youth, to sit alone in silence when the Lord has imposed it, to put my mouth to the dust. There may yet be hope. To give my cheek to the smiter and be filled with insults, for the Lord won't reject forever. Although he causes grief, he'll have compassion according to the abundance of his steadfast love, for he doesn't willingly afflict or grieve anyone. When all the prisoners of the life are crushed underfoot, when human rights are perverted in the presence of the Most High, when one's case is subverted, does the Lord not see it? Who can command and have it done if the Lord hasn't ordained it? Is it not from the mouth of the Most High that good and bad come? Why should any who draw breath complain about the punishment of their sins? Let me test and examine my own ways and return to the Lord. Let me lift up my heart as well as my hands to God in heaven. I've transgressed and rebelled, and you haven't forgiven. You've wrapped yourself with anger and pursued me, killing without pity. You've wrapped yourself with a cloud so that no prayer can pass through. You've made me filth and rubbish among the people. All my enemies have opened their mouths against me. Panic and pitfall have come upon me, devastation and destruction. My eyes flow with rivers of tears because of the destruction of my life. My eyes will flow without ceasing, without respite, until the Lord from heaven looks down and sees. My eyes cause me grief at the fate of all the young womanhood in my own inner city. Those who were my enemies without cause have hunted me like a bird. They flung me alive into a spiritual pit and hurled stones on me. Water closed over my head. I said, I am lost. I called on your name, O Lord, from the depths of the pit. You heard my plea. Don't close your ear to my cry for help, but give me relief. You came near when I called on you. You said, don't fear. You've taken up my cause, O Lord. You've redeemed my life. You've seen the wrong done to me, O Lord. Judge my cause. You've seen all their malice, all their plots against me. You've heard their taunts, O Lord, all their plots against me. The whispers and murmurs of my assailants are against me all day long. Whether they sit or rise, see, I'm the object of their taunt songs. Pay them back for their deeds, O Lord, according to the work of their hands. Give them anguish of heart. Your curse be on them. Pursue them in anger and destroy them from under the Lord's heavens. The punishment of my iniquity, O my inner Zion, is accomplished. He'll keep me in exile no longer. But your iniquity, O daughter Edom, representing family betrayal and persecution and hatred, he'll punish. He'll uncover your sins. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you his peace.